Okay, let's do this. Right. In three, two, one, go. Hello all, this is Mr. Lucid LJ here, back with another audio commentary. This time it's going to be a wrestling commentary. It's been a good while since I've done one. I'd like to introduce a special guest that I have again. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, my name is Dennis, but my YouTube name is I am McLovin155.
We both haven't done any kind of wrestling stuff really in the past year and a half. But I don't know. I just got a mad idea to do a wrestling commentary tonight. I'm planning to go back and do more wrestling commentaries over the summer, so expect a lot more content and stuff. But this one's going to be talking about. It kind of gave me an idea with the whole Dolph Ziggler concussion. It made me think about Owen Hart in 1999 and how WWE kind of continued the pay-per-view after he died in the ring. So, Dennis, would you like to go first and talk about a few things about that?
Oh, sure. I thought that it was wrong that the show continued. I understand that it's a pay-per-view and people paid tickets and bought the pay-per-view through the TV, but I think it's more of a morality issue and just having good ethics. The show shouldn't have gone on because a man died, and the WWF had to show their respect by just canceling it and explaining what really went on. And the people would have understood that. They probably would have been upset, but, um, some things come more important than money. Money isn't everything. And I guess that's just my opinion, but I could be wrong.
My thing is, Dennis, I talked to a few friends on Facebook and kind of said, like, what would you have done if you were in the situation? And a lot of them seem to be like, well, I would have let the pay-per-view continue because they seem more focused on the money side of things. People being annoyed and angry that a pay-per-view stopped because a man died. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's about morals and about like standing up for more than just money. For me, it's like Vince really didn't give a shit. Like, I mean, if you were Vince, you mean you're loaded, you have tons of money. Like, what do you think?
I think that's true. I mean, when did it happen? 99? 1999?
Yeah, I mean, like 99, I mean, WWF was absolutely massive. They just started to take the ratings away from WCW. So they had so much money. Them kind of years in WWF, they were probably making a couple of 100 million a year off pay-per-view merchandise. Stone Cold was doing like 10 million in pay-per-view, in merchandise sales per year, doing really well for himself. The company was flying, it was succeeding. So I mean, losing a couple of million off a pay-per-view, is that really the end of the world, do you think?
Not really. I mean, I still think it's about just being respectful and courteous to the men who died and, just, I mean, humankind because it's just, I don't understand why money's so important. I mean, yeah, the WWF was loaded in 99. There was no need to continue that show. Um, but I think that's still beside the point because the man died and they had to pay respect.
Well, I mean, my thing is like, there's so many different things you could have done. I mean, yeah, stop the show, right? Okay. If people are annoyed, well, what reason have you got to be annoyed? A man has just died. A man you've watched wrestle for years in the WWF, who possibly could have been a world champion, main eventer, maybe in like 94, 95. Maybe his time was past as a main eventer. He still was going to be wrestling, at least in WWF, for a couple more years after he died. What do you think?
Definitely. Um, I think what that move proved was that Vince just didn't care about his wrestler. He just cared more about the money, and the money people could have gotten that back. Refunds do exist, and the fans could have gotten their money back who bought it on pay-per-view, and it ended shortly. But it wasn't planned for him to die, obviously. And
Obviously, I mean, well, the thing is, right, the whole thing is that he was kind of forced into an angle. Like Vince Russo was in creative in 1999, and basically he was kind of forced into being his old gimmick because Vince Russo, being the smut, cunt, New York son of a bitch that he is, said to Owen, "You get up in those wrestlers and you be the Blue Blazer, you motherfucker." Because he actually wanted to book him. Actually wanted to book him in an angle with Deborah where he was having an affair with Deborah, but because Owen Hart has a lot of morals and beliefs, he didn't want to do that angle, so they reverted him back to the old gimmick of the Blue Blazer. I think he was meant to win the title on that night. But no, like you said, with the refunds anyway, like a lot of people I talked to tonight on Facebook, they were kind of like, oh, well, it's very tough to get refunds and do refunds and stuff. And, you know, like they're on about the cable company doing refunds. Would they cooperate with WWE? I couldn't understand what reason they wouldn't have to cooperate with WWE. I would have either done a refund and not do a show, or look, I'd say to the customers and people, if you booked a ticket, we're going to book the show maybe in a couple of days' time, maybe on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and have the pay-per-view then. But we're going to, or even not have the pay-per-view and just show the respect to Owen Hart, you know? Like, what would you have done, do you think?
There's a lot of things that could have taken place. I would have just ended the show, obviously. Found a way to refund people. If it took a long time or it was a hard process, so be it. But they were going to get their money back. And I would have just done a tribute the next week, or, you know, it's on a Sunday, so Raw.
Well, I think they did a tribute on Raw to him, which is fair enough. But the thing is, like, you know, is it so important that you have to continue a show, you know?
No, that's what I'm saying. There was no need to continue that pay-per-view in his honor, you know? It should have ended. But, yeah, I thought he was working he had a title match for the European Championship.
It was either European or IC. I think he was against Godfather, and he was meant to win. But, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, Owen would have liked the show to continue. How the fuck does anyone know what Owen would have wanted, in fairness? Like, if someone dies, I think it's just respectful that you have to end the show, because it's like, do fans really want to see, like, footage of a man dying in the ring? And, you know, what kind of atmosphere would a show have after someone dies anyway? A really bad and negative atmosphere. You couldn't enjoy a show after that happening, really, could you?
Of course not. It'd be the only thing you would be talking about. It was traumatizing enough to the people who witnessed it on, you know, for themselves. But I think, like, it was so fast. It was like 2 seconds that people on TV, you know, barely saw. But
I mean, like, fans and kids in the crowd would have just been horrified and shocked at the incident from happening, like, you know.
It was awful, but the thing was, no one else would remember, like, the main event to that you know, pay-per-view. I mean, okay, there was no need to continue the show because that moment completely overshadowed everything else. And I guess there's just no point. I mean, the part where, like, the commentators were, like, you know, Jim Ross was talking about what happened, letting the viewers know what happened. I thought that was good, but I thought it should have ended there. That's it.
Yeah, it showed that they had respect to kind of tell the fans at home what exactly happened. I mean, the thing is that, like, what as a wrestler, I don't know what you do in that situation. Like, you can't just gather up the wrestlers and say, look, do you think we should continue the show or not? You know, I've talked with Ross about this tonight. He was like, oh yeah, get the crowd to vote if the show should continue. This isn't fucking Cyber Sunday 2007. You know? It's like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? You know?
It's so easy, but I think other people's opinions, like, just make it harder than what it has to be, because I think everyone has morals, and the right moral for this was just to end it in respect.
Like no one, like you're running a business, right? At the end of the day, you are the boss, so you should be the one who is making decisions. It shouldn't be the fucking fans. It shouldn't be fucking creative. It shouldn't be staff. It shouldn't be the wrestlers or whatever. It should be you to make the decision. And for me, Vince made the wrong decision that night. You know, like this is my thing as well. You know, I got like from Ross as well. He was like, "Oh well, if Austin or Rock, you know, died, I would have continued the show. Oh no, sorry, I would have stopped the show." So you're telling me, if Austin or Rock died, they're more important than another man's life? You know, are you fucking serious? Like, come on.
That's
Does that make any sense to you at all?
no, that's beyond bullshit. Because they're human beings. It's not like Rock or Austin are superior in any way to Owen Hart. I'm not saying that as an entertainer or anything. You know, it doesn't matter. They're all human, and
Exactly.
and I don't understand what Ross is trying to convey. That doesn't make sense.
But the way he was going on, it's like, oh, the fans will be so angry. Well, why would they be angry? I'm sure fans of Owen would be hugely devastated if he died in the ring.
Yeah,
And just fans in general would be just like upset and crying, you know?
exactly.
And then like another thing is it's like, all right, you're saying that another guy is more important than another, which is bullshit. And then also saying like, you know, oh, the money side of it. Why the fuck do you care about the money? You know? Why does he care about if WWE loses money on a pay-per-view and fans lose money on a ticket? If I was in attendance that night and I didn't get my refund, who gives a shit? Like you said, it's money at the end of the day, so who gives a fucking shit, really?
I mean, if you're going to fucking pay-per-view, I think you're doing pretty good. If you're buying pay-per-views on TV on a constant basis, or, you know, sporadically, like 4 times a year or 3 or whatever, I'm pretty safe to say that you're doing okay financially. And
Yeah, that's it exactly. Like, you can just go, get your money out of the bank, go to another fucking pay-per-view, and watch another show, you
but
know?
I may not speak for everyone because it's very rare that that would happen. That it just so happened to be that person's last amount of money. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get my money back, else I'm starved, you know? But no, that's not the case. And yeah, it's just money. I mean, it's like $60 or 100 or, you know, however the ticket was.
Well, even if let's say it's like $60, you know, whatever, travel costs expensive, you buy food, whatever, maybe spend $100 on the night, okay? Fair enough. The show ends. You're a bit disappointed and angry, but human emotions and caring should come a hell of a lot more first than money and all that kind of shit, really, you know?
Hmm. Definitely.
So, I don't know, is there anything else you'd like to say or any closing thoughts? We'll wrap up this video.
Um, I'm not trying to sound pompous with our opinions because you and I have a similar opinion, but um, to the other people who oppose to our way of thinking, who thought that the show should have gone on, and it was a good idea that it did go on back in '99. I think that is very wrong because there's no way around it. The show should have ended, but it didn't because Vince McMahon wanted to make his money, and he got what he wanted, and I just thought that was very wrong and very disrespectful. But
And this is why like Owen and like Owen's family, Brett and stuff, were very pissed at the WWE. And he probably won't go into the Hall of Fame, which is a tragedy because he was a very great wrestler. Did a lot. Possibly should have been main event champion. You know, but look, that's how it goes, unfortunately. So anyway, let's end this. So this is Mr. Lucid LJ. I'll be back in a while. Peace.